Hello student, very good morning to all of you. How are you? I hope you all are happy, healthy and fine at home. Do you remember what were we discussing yesterday? I think we were discussing about the general method for structure determination of terpenoid, right? And before that, we have learned the isoprene rule. Isoprene rule means what? Special isoprene rule means what? And the application of this rule and how it is applied, that we have seen. So, for general method for structure determination of terpenoid, so first point we have discussed, that is the molecular formula. Molecular formula is one of the most important point for structure determination of the terpenoid. Once you know the molecular formula, and the rest of the thing becomes as easy, so you can achieve the structure of the terpenoid, right? So molecular formula, if it is not given, so how to derive it? There is some way of deriving that molecular formula from the pure specimen obtained from the natural sources is analyzed and determined and estimated from the element present, and from which the other from which we can get the empirical formula, and after the empirical formula and the molecular weight, we can calculate the molecular formula. This is a way of obtaining the molecular formula of the terpenoid. Second point we have learned, we have discussed detection of unsaturation. Detection of unsaturation, it is a second step required for the structure determination of terpenoids. What is that detection of unsaturation? We know that the presence of olefinic bond can be determined by the bromination or nitrosyl chloride consuming addition reaction, and 1 mole of bromine is added for each carbon-carbon double bond. So, in this way we can determine, we can detect, we can identify the presence of how many carbon-carbon double bond present in the unknown compound of the organic or the natural products. So, that is the way we have seen. So, today we are going to discuss about the nature of oxygen function. The nature of oxygen function, it is what we can call it as a we are going to discuss over here. Nature of oxygen function. In terpenoids, oxygen atom, if present, may be like this. Suppose as a first one, it may present in a, this is a alcoholic group, right, or hydroxyl group, that is alcoholic, or that oxygen atom may be present in another group, that is COH, that is a carboxylic group, carboxylic group, or it may present in another form, that is You know that this is a carbonyl group. Carbonyl group. Then this oxygen atom may present in this one CO, CH2, that is oxo group. Then it may be present in CO, CS3, that is a acetyl group. Then and can be detected as follows. So look at, suppose your molecular formula containing, we know that in a empirical formula carbon and the hydrogen, they are always with that organic compound. Without carbon and hydrogen we cannot imagine as an organic compound, and therefore we define the organic chemistry means what? The study of compound that contain carbon atom is known as an organic compound. There are some exceptions are there, like as a for example calcium carbonate. There is a carbon atom but it is not the organic. So let me tell you first that one. So along with that carbon and the hydrogen must come with, and therefore it is a organic compound we can say over here. And along this carbon and hydrogen there is a oxygen atom is present in your molecular formula, then that oxygen atom may be present in a different functional groups. Look at here, there are 5 nature of oxygen function. It may present in alcoholic form, hydroxyl group, then carboxylic group, carbonyl group, oxo group or acetyl group. So these are the in a various form that oxygen atom may be present. So how do you detect it? How will you find out the presence of the alcoholic group in the terpenoids? Let's see one by one. There is a first one is a OH, that is alcoholic group, that we are going to learn, alcoholic group, right? Now, and it is detected by the action of acetic anhydride or phenyl isocyanate. Generally, what the chemists perform the test here for identifying, for detecting the alcoholic group, very easiest way to identify, to detect that alcoholic group. And as we know that alcohol, a general formula of alcohol is ROH, and when that alcohol on the reaction with acetic anhydride or phenyl isocyanate, when the monoacetyl derivative is formed, that clearly indicate that the hydroxy group is primary alcohol or the alcoholic group is present. And as you know that alcoholic group, OH group, further classified into 3 categories. Number 1, primary alcohol, secondary alcohol and the tertiary alcohol. These are the classification of that alcohol. If it is present, it may be present in the terpenoid in a different forms, primary, secondary and the tertiary. As we know that hydroxy group when attached to CH2, that is what is the primary. When that hydroxy group attached to CH, then it is known as a secondary. When hydroxy group attached to carbon, quaternary carbon atom, then it is termed as a tertiary alcohol. So these are the way of identifying. If the structures are given, then we can very very easy way we can find out, we come to know whether it is a primary, secondary or the tertiary. But we are here trying to find out the structure of the known terpenoids. So here it is detected by the action of acetic anhydride or phenyl isocyanate, then the resulting compound. Let us see here, everybody knows that the general formula of alcohol ROH, the organic compound having the general formula ROH is known as alcohol, where R is a alkyl or aryl group, maybe aliphatic or aromatic, that type of the compound. Now when it is treated with acetic anhydride, as we know that acetic anhydride AC2O. So ACTO, acetic anhydride, you might be knowing here, suppose we have CS3, C double bond O, then C double bond O, CS3. This is the structure of acetic anhydride, right? Acetic anhydride, this is acetyl group, or it is known in short, this is acronym is used AC. Here AC and here also as a AC. So two ACs are there, therefore 2, and this O, middle O, common O is written like this, and that's why it is known as a acetic anhydride. And when acetic anhydride is treated, so reaction takes place very easily, and we are going to get ROAC, you can call it AC, ROAC, that is a monoacetyl derivative. This one is a monoacetyl derivative. Monoacetyl derivative is formed over here, right? ROH and plus acetic anhydride. This is a structure of acetic anhydride. This is the structure of acetic anhydride, and we are getting as a this type of the compound over there, right? And now, or the mechanism you might be knowing, but let us see here RO. Then here is a hydrogen atom, a lone pair which is present on oxygen atom. So that way you can write here CS3, C double bond O, then C double bond O, CS3. Now what is happening? This lone pair is going to attack on this carbonyl group, and there is a double bond retain as it is, and then there is a breaking of bond between that carbonyl carbon and the oxygen atom. The resulting compound is formed as R, this O, then C double bond O, CS3. As we know that CS3 means CSC, and that's why this we can write as a ROAC, right? And the side product, don't think about the side product. Here the depart one hydrogen from here, and this is joined over there. You are going to get the side product generated over here, acetic acid. That is the general reaction occurs. So a monoacetyl derivative clearly indicate that there is a presence of alcoholic group. Only one alcoholic group is present. So that is the indication of monoacetyl derivative. Clearly indicate that alkaloid contain only as a one hydroxyl group. So that is there. Now when as we know that another derivative is a very good derivative. Again, let us have this one ROH, alcohol. This is a alcohol, and that will be treated with isocyanate. The structure of isocyanate you might be knowing, C double bond O, double bond N, and then pH. This is a structure of phenyl isocyanate. This is a structure of phenyl isocyanate. This is a structure of phenyl isocyanate, and that when they react together, the compound formed will be urethane derivative. This is going to attack over there, this is revolving around it, and that hydrogen atom goes or attached to that nitrogen atom, and what you are going to get here, RO, then C double bond O, then NH, and this PH, right? And this is the derivative we are getting over here. That derivative has a special name. The name of that derivative is a urethane derivative. Urethane derivatives. Urethane derivatives. Urethane derivative that clearly indicate that there will be a alcoholic group present in a unknown alkalides. So that is the qualitative test we are performing here. Our final aim or the objective to derive, to obtain the structure of the unknown terpenoid. The formation of monoacetyl derivative indicate the presence of one OH group. Remember, in a previous example we have seen. So the formation of monoacetyl derivative indicates, suggests the presence of one OH group. The dehydration and the oxidation product, the dehydration and the oxidation product of alcohol help us to distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. Primary alcohols undergo very slow dehydration, whereas secondary and the tertiary alcohol undergo faster dehydration. And by studying the product, we can easily find out the what type of the structure of that terpenoid has. So let us see, second one is a carboxylic group, right? Second one, first one we have seen as alcoholic, and now let's study, let's discuss the second group, which is carboxylic group, right? And second one B, that is a COOH, which is known as carboxylic group. Carboxylic group, right? Carboxylic group. And as we know that the organic compound having the general formula RC double bond O is known as monocarboxylic group, mono, di, tricarboxylic. So depending upon the number of carboxylic group present over there, we can identify, we can detect the presence of. So how will you determine, how will you detect the presence, or how will you prove the presence of carboxylic group in an alkaloid? So here the general, while performing as a qualitative analysis in the lab, we are performing these tests in the lab, and we are inferring the observation, what type of the observation we are getting over there. And it is detected by treatment with sodium bicarbonate solution, right? And as we know that the general formula of carboxylic group is this one, or the acid, that is a RC double bond OH. RCOH is known as a general formula of carboxylic group. This is the general formula of acid, right? So we can call it as a acid, this one, or carboxylic group. and there is a one reagent which can get reacted with this, generally NaHCO3. The name of this chemical is a sodium bicarbonate. NaHCO3 is a sodium bicarbonate solution. When it is treated with this, what you are going to get over here? Here you are going to get R, C double bond O, here Na plus, here minus charge, plus CO2, bubbles of that CO2 that goes in the atmosphere, and this is the reaction generally takes place while adding the sodium bicarbonate into an acid. So that is the indication when bubbles comes out from that test tube, then that you are come to know that there is a possibility of presence of one carboxylic group in the unknown compound, right? And now during the practical you might be knowing this is a soluble salt of sodium salt of acid, the sodium salt of acid, carboxylic acid, right? And this salt is a soluble, and therefore when this salt when treated with HCl, maybe as a dilute HCl or 2 normal HCl, acidification takes place. What you are going to get? R, C double bond O, OH. This is in the form of PPT, and then side product maybe as a this type of the salt, and this is the original compound acid is regenerated over here, and so that in this way we can determine, we can detect the presence of carboxylic group in the unknown compound. Number of such a group are estimated by titration against a standard alkali. We don't know whether it is a because by treating that nitric acid, that sodium bicarbonate, this type of the reaction takes place, and we are getting as a sodium salt of that compound, but we don't know whether it is a monocarboxylic acid or dicarboxylic acid or tetracarboxylic acid, and for that number of carboxylic acid, for the determination of number of to find out the number of carboxylic acid present in that compound, you have to again treatment with standard alkali against, and from that we can determine or we can get the exact number of carboxylic group present in that compound. So that is the general way of identifying or detecting the carboxylic group in a unknown. Now let us move on to the third one. Which is third one, let us see. Third one will be the carbonyl group, right? Next one will be the carbonyl group. Let us see here. C is a carbonyl group. C double bond O, that is a carbonyl group, right? Carbonyl group. This is a way. Now this carbonyl group, and we know that near about 75% of the organic compound containing as a carbonyl group, and that carbonyl group, it can be detected by the action of it can be aldehydic. We know that carbonyl group, it can be aldehydic or ketonic, and it is detected by the reaction with hydroxylamine or hydrogen cyanide or phenylhydrazine, 2,4-DNP, etc. The aldehydic group can be distinguished from ketonic group by silver mirror test. see here, listen carefully, the carbonyl group may be aldehydic or ketonic, and that carbonyl group very sensitive toward the reagent like ammonia derivatives such as hydroxylamine, phenylhydrazine, hydrazine 2,4-DNP, semicarbazone, and form the respective derivatives, or it can immediately react with hydrogen cyanide to form as a cyanohydrin derivative. But to distinguish between whether that carbonyl group is aldehydic or ketonic, there is one test performed generally in the laboratory for the distinction between aldehydic group and the ketonic group, that is a silver mirror test. It is one of the tests performed while performing the experiment, qualitative experiment in the laboratory. So, what is that test? Silver mirror test. So, let us see how the reactions are taking place. First of all, let us see, suppose there is a general formula of this carbonyl group when it is reacted with that H2N ammonia derivatives. This is known as a hydroxylamine. It is a hydroxylamine. Hydroxylamine, when at it is very sensitive or reactive toward as a carbonyl group, and the product form will be this one. Here carbon nitrogen double bond and OH. This is called as the oxime derivatives. Oxime derivatives, which is white in color derivatives, is obtained. So, but we cannot distinguish whether this carbonyl group is aldehydic or ketonic. For the distinction between aldehyde and the ketone, you have to perform another test. Here let us see, suppose as your given compound is aldehyde in nature, then it will react with the Toulen's reagent. Toulen's reagent, we know that twice Ag NH3 twice OH, which is known as a Toulen's reagent. Toulen's reagent, this is the reagent which can distinguish aldehydic group into as a from the ketonic group. What it does here, the Toulen's reagent is an oxidizing reagent which oxidize the aldehyde group into the acid, and then twice Ag, the silver particle deposit at the site of the test tube, and then twice NH3 plus water H2. This type of the reaction occurs over there, and from this reaction we can easily distinguish between aldehydic group and the ketonic group. So, this is the test for the detection of the carbonyl group. So, now let us see another nature of, because we are discussing the nature of the oxygen function. So, let us see fourth one, that is CO and CH2, that is oxo group, right? Oxo group, COCH2, there is a reactive methylene group is present, right? And that reactive methylene group, so whether it is a COCH2, that oxo group is present in the alkaloid, how will you detect, how will you identify? So, let us have the, here it can be detected by the action of nitrous acid or benzaldehyde, which forms oxime and benzylidene derivatives respectively. And when both the derivatives are formed, one is oxime derivatives with benzaldehyde, it gives the benzylidene derivative. Both clearly indicate that there must be the COCH2 group is present in an alkaloid. Let us see here. Here structure I am writing C double bond O, this CH2, right? This is a structure I am, or here I am writing this one. This is a reactive CH2 group, right? This is oxo group. This group is known as a oxo group. Oxo, right? Oxo group. And this oxo group, when it is treated with nitrous acid, right? HNO2. Nitrous acid, this is called as a hydrogen, or nitrous acid is known as a nitrous acid. When it is get reacted, what you are going to get here? C double bond O, then this double bond NOH, and this compound. This is a oxymino derivatives form, or oxime derivatives formed over there, because this CH2 means this is a reactive methylene group adjacent to the carbonyl group. They get reacted with that reagent nitrous acid and form that derivatives. When it is treated with benzaldehyde PHCHO, we know that, and then benzaldehyde get reacted with oxo group and the resulting derivatives form over here, C double bond, then CH and PH, right? And this is called as a benzylidene derivatives. This is known as a benzylidene derivatives. Benzylidene derivative, and from when these two derivatives are formed, that clearly indicate that there is a what we can call it as a presence of oxo group in an alkaloid. And now next one we are going to see, that is a acetyl group. Next one will be this one. Let us see the, because we are discussing about the nature of oxygen function. So this one I think E, not here. There is a E. What is that? CO and CS3. This group is known as acetyl group, right? This one is a acetyl group. This one is a acetyl group. Okay. Now, acetyl group, and it forms haloform reaction or on strong oxidation with CrO3 gives acetic acid. When this acetyl acid is present over there, it can form as a haloform reaction or on strong oxidation with CrO3, chromium oxide, gives acetic acid. So let us see over here, that is a R, then C double bond O, CS3, when it is treated with 3Br2 in presence of sodium hydroxide, what you are going to get here? R, C double bond O, then C Br3, and when it is treated with sodium hydroxide, this bond is going to break, R C double bond O, ONA, and plus CH Br3. Bromo form is formed over there, and from that we come to know that there is a acetyl group is present. This is acetyl group is present over there. Suppose For example, suppose you have this type of the compound, CS3, CH2, C double bond O, then CH, CH2, CH3, or if you have CS3, CH2, C double bond O, CS3, which will give the positive iodoform test, or what we can call it a bromoform test. Those are group having as a terminal one or maybe initial one, C double bond O CS3. That type of the compound will give the haloform test. This there is no acetyl group present, therefore the above compound do not give this test. So this way we can, this is a bromoform, right? This is a bromoform. And now next one, suppose we have a compound like this R CH2 C double bond O CS3, when it is treated with CrO3, this is a strong oxidizing reagent, and this is the oxidizing reagent, what we know that, and when it is there R, then it gives the product RC double bond OH, that is acid, as well as it gives CS3 C double bond OH. Formation of the acetic acid in such a reaction clearly indicate that there is a acetyl group is present in that alkaloids. So these are the what we can call it as a nature of the oxygen function. We have seen how the oxygen atom are present in a various functional group like as alcohol, then carbonyl, carboxylic, then oxo group, then acetyl group. By taking the suitable example, how we can prove the presence of those different functional group by using as a different reagent, getting as a different properties, and from that we can draw, we can infer that the alcohol group, or what we can call it as a oxo group, is present in a present in those alkaloids. So this is a, because we are discussing about the general method for structure determination of the alkaloids. So far we have seen the third point. First point we have seen molecular formula, second one is a detection of unsaturation, third one is a nature of oxygen function, and in a next lecture we will learn the degradation product, and what are those degradation, what are the reagent used for degradation, and how we can come to know about that degradation product. By studying, careful study of that degradation product, we can find out the position of the particular functional group, or carbon-carbon double bond, means olefinic double bond present in the unknown structure of alkaloid. So that is the point we are going to discuss in the next lecture. I think with this, let us stop today here. Remaining we will see in the next lecture. Thank you. Have a nice day.